everyone. Once again, a grand welcome to all of you who have attended our training and are now with us here today. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Once again, it's a great pleasure to be sharing with you today. Okay, so just to keep everybody an update about how we have performed last 2 weeks. Okay, so actually it really came by surprise, because how did the introduction of 90 Day came about? It was a very casual introduction. Okay, and we decided to do that because it was so happened the launch of Stronghold in Singapore. Okay, so we thought that it would be a good idea to introduce the 90 Day protocol publicly, okay, to everybody, so that everyone has a chance to do something right to their body. Okay, and what caught us completely by surprise was the response. Okay, and from what I hear from coaches, right after that talk, many people were really interested, and everybody was signing up. Okay, and they were recruiting like crazy. And right now, they are coaching 22 groups concurrently. All right, so please give your coaches a big hand, okay, to coach and guide all of you individually. And speaking to them is a lot of effort, a lot of personalization, and the reports as well. I think the very important thing is the tracking and the reports that you get on a weekly basis. It's really value added, and all these coaches are not earning extra from you. Okay, it's based on products, and they're doing this because of the passion and the sincerity in wanting people to make their lives better. Okay, so for all those who have not joined, not to worry. Okay, it's still an ongoing recruitment. So if you have friends who are interested, do encourage them to join. And it's not just them. Okay, so even for all of us, okay, who are in a corporate team, who are working behind the scenes, last time you don't, it's like this whole 90, this whole program thing. Sometimes you can feel like a detachment from the corporate team. But now, after listening, and we also feel that if we don't join in the fun, we are really missed out. FOMO, I haven't used that word in a while already. So now we are also on board, and there are people I know that loves food, okay, but willing to sacrifice, I tell you, okay, and their visualization, the imagination of who they will be 3 months from now. Okay, so I'm really very excited to see there'll be great transformations, and we are journeying together with you. All right, so this is not just like a customer thing. This is not just like a seasoned people thing. This is also a company thing, right? So it's like there's a different layer of togetherness and collectivity as we all come together to embody our mission, okay, to make life better. All right, so without further ado, let's go right into our slides today. All right, now, what I think this presentation today is important because this is something that we will eventually question when we go into a specific timeline of our health journey. Okay, and just so you know, the 90 Day, even though it's being talked a lot, being like a weight loss, but it's actually not. Okay, the whole 90 days protocol really is a very targeted and personalized program to target your unique body needs. Okay, so some people, the objective is to build more muscle, for example. It's not to lose weight. So we have all kinds of people joining in the program. Okay, but fundamentally, eventually, there will be a very critical question that you will ask, because there will come to a point that you may face a wall, right? Why is it that I'm not really achieving the progress that I want, right? Okay. So it's really very important that we understand this. What are some common frustrations? I'm sure you may be feeling it, or you have friends or family who are also facing the same frustration when it comes to their own journey. All right, weight loss is very slow. Your weight plateaus easily. The body fat remain high. Okay, despite of countless attempts, you still cannot get to where you want. Your energy levels are lower. All right. And the interest keep increasing. Okay, by right, baseline is not supposed to increase. Okay, so if it does increase, then something is wrong with you, whatever you're doing. Number 1 to number 4 is very relatable. Okay, we get very impatient. So what happens when we hit a wall with this 4? What is the first thing that you will come up to your mind to quote unquote blame the problem, right? Definitely one of the things is your metabolism, right? You should think that, oh, I must be of a certain age. I think I'm already in my mid-40s or beginning of 50s. So that's why I'm slowing down already. And you cannot expect me to lose the same rate as my friend who's 30 years old, right? So really the first thing that comes in mind is, definitely my metabolism is slower, and how to increase, don't know. It's a fixed thing and you always leave it to fate. It's all about genetics, right? So now we need to test this theory. Is this notion really true or not? Is metabolism a direct correlation with your age, right? Very interestingly, actually, I came upon these studies. Okay, it's the most recent big landmark study that studied a wide variety of people across 29 countries. Okay, so this is a very highly validated study. So it shows this very interesting table. Okay, you can see here. Okay, you can see here, right? From infant, of course, we know. Okay, babies, they grow like every month typically, right? So of course, it explains their growth spurt. And at early childhood, okay, and all the way through, actually, your metabolic rate is decreasing. Okay, in adolescent, like about 18, 19, 20, yeah, you are still in this category. But once you hit 20, and when you go all the way to 60, it shows that our metabolic rate don't differ much. Okay, it's relatively stable. Like it's just about there. There's some fluctuation that happens up and down, but it's generally stable. Okay, and of course, once you hit 60, it's a late decline, and of course, it's from there it drops down. So again, okay, back to all the theory and assumptions that we have about metabolism. So if, okay, metabolic rate is stable between 20 to 60, then what is happening? All right, because we know that this looks great on theory, but in reality, it's not like that. Okay, in reality, we know it's like this. Okay, when your person is like 20 to 30, they look relatively fit, okay, in good condition, healthy. But once they are 30 to 40, okay, that's where they have to change a little bit. You can see some inches go up. This is where they lose control. Okay, they like quote unquote they let go, and it's just downhill from here. Okay, it's all the way through to a certain age. This is how we see, right? For men, it's also the same thing. Young, okay, a bit of belly fat is fine. Okay, this is a typical 20 to 30, right? Okay, but once 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60 is really just like you get thinner on upper body, and your belly fat will get more and more prominent as you age with time. So this is what majority of the population is facing. Okay, it doesn't matter what country, and we can see it among our circle. So what is happening really at this age gap that we are not experiencing the same level of metabolic rate that we should be according to the graph? So what happened? Number one, okay, this is just a background of research study that studied from 8 to 95 years old. Okay, what they found was shocking. That if you put muscle and fat stable, right, your metabolism remains remarkably stable between this age, and it does not drop during your 30 to 40. So there may be some fluctuation 40 to 60. Okay? While your overall metabolic rate doesn't drop, your hormone landscape absolutely changes between these phases. Okay, so this is where stuff happens, such as stress. Okay, stress is actually a very big, and we don't feel it because it's interwoven into our lives. Like get married, for example, you need to buy a house, you need to shift house, your career goals and things like that, right? So those are things that they compound over time. Sleep deprivation is also a big one, right? Because it adds up to the stress, your cortisol level increases, and all these things definitely does a lot, not just only to our mental space, but chemically as well. And of course, insulin signaling as well. Okay, so all these things interrelate, and cortisol will make the insulin signaling a lot more haywire. Okay, so desk job, highly sedentary lifestyle causes us to burn less, wow, up to 500 kilocalories a day. Okay, so that's why we're encouraged to walk, because this is what's happening to us, all right, compared to how we were when we were students. All right, and your weight gain over 20 to 30 years is not something that happens suddenly, like you wake up one day, you are heavy by 10 kilos. No, it is something that creeps in, that happens very slowly. All right, and it's a bit of additional calories here. Like, okay, suddenly one fine day you eat a bit more noodles, or you eat a bit more bites of cake, and now there's so many nice desserts, right? So all the things you just eat here and there over the months, okay? But 100 unburned calories a day equals to 2.2 kg of fat per year, that you are building in your body. And if you times that by 10, it's easily like 10 kg or even more that you'll be gaining over the decade, right? And of course, sex hormones also is one of those things that we have to take note, especially being 50s. It happens to both men and women because the increase of testosterone will also lead to that as well. And women is more on estrogen and progesterone. Okay, so you will find that you have a lot of belly fat and midsection problem, visceral fat as well. Okay, that will happen at this time. Okay, so what determines our metabolism? So there are a few things, but today I want to touch on things that is within our control. Okay, which is number one, insulin signaling, muscle, of course, hormones as well. Sex hormones is a different issue altogether, which requires a different session. Okay, and of course, genetics can't do much about it. All right, but there's a whole lot you can do really. If you can do number one, number two, naturally the number three will somehow also level itself out. Okay, and then number four is something that will also flow along with what you do with number one and number two. So why do we need to talk about cortisol? All right, I don't think I've really spoke about this, but as I was doing this study, I realized that cortisol affects our metabolism in ways that we don't realize. Okay, so whether we like it or not, we all already have a baseline of cortisol already. Okay, it's also unfortunate that we are living in quite a fast-paced society. We are not really getting enough sleep, so we cannot put ourselves the same benchmark with people who were living like back in the past. Okay, so all these reasons, that's why. So we have a harder time maintaining healthy insulin and sugar level compared to baseline already. Okay, so our starting point is already not that great, to be frank, right? So once cortisol is in the body, your liver will release sugar. So this is what cortisol does. Okay, it encourage your liver to start dumping glycogen. Okay, so basically it will release a lot of sugar into your bloodstream. And your blood glucose readings can increase up to 1.1 to 2.8 millimole. So depending where you are, I know Singapore use mg to deciliter, but Malaysia we use 1.1 to 2.8. This is a lot. So if your blood glucose increased by this much, you can from pre-diabetic, you can go into diabetes really. Okay, so this is how much your blood will spike when cortisol is excess in your body. Okay, now approximate sugar spike after is, okay, to give you context, is like eating one slice of white bread. So by stressing, right, by worrying or stressing, or if you have a baseline of high cortisol, your body is releasing the same level of sugar as you eating one slice of white bread. Okay, so that is the illustration to show you the effect of cortisol. And not only that, your pancreas have to do a lot more work to bring it down to baseline. Okay, because it's already so high. So obviously your pancreas has to do the work, right, to level it down. Hence, it will release 2 to 3 times more insulin than normal. So if your cortisol keep increasing throughout the day, all right, if not just morning, sometimes it's throughout the day, okay, after a very big meal, also your cortisol will increase. So how can we then manage this part of the equation? That's why feel good is very important. I think, of course, we have many angles to look at this. Okay, there's the whole fasting way we can look at it. But if we pivot to look at how it manages cortisol, it gives us a more balanced view on how we can manage our insulin overall. Okay, I think this is why we have to take it seriously, because many people will think that coffee is a more superior choice. Although I have nothing against coffee, it's true that black coffee has many health benefits. Okay, but the thing about black coffee, it will still spike your cortisol, right? And not to mention that our cortisol will be high, especially in the morning. Okay, this is the natural response as our body needs instant glucose to awake our brain. especially very important organs like the brain, you know, you to function, right? So of course your cortisol will naturally increase so that you can do what we need to do in the morning, lah, right? But the problem happens is when what you do, because it will peak 30 to 60 minutes right after you wake up. So black coffee, if you take immediately right after you wake up, your cortisol will be even higher, right? Okay, it can stimulate the adrenal glands to release extra cortisol. And drinking coffee right when your natural cortisol is already peaking, you can be stimulating your adrenals even more. Okay, on top of an already elevated stress hormone window. So this is why I would still say that yerba mate is still better. Okay, because of how it doesn't increase cortisol like how black coffee would. Alright? So bringing yerba mate into the picture, how then does it compare? You know, in this, if you look at things at this perspective. Okay, so of course what we have is potent yerba mate. We know now the World Cup is ongoing, right? So all those footballers, they don't drink black coffee. Okay, black coffee will also dehydrate. So they always go for things, and now this is really, yerba mate is really a very in thing, especially for all the footballers. They all go on this, okay, full time on yerba mate. Why? Because of all these really great and awesome chemical compounds such as chlorogenic acid, theobromine. Okay, there's some naturally occurring caffeine, and due to the caffeine profile, it has a very distinctive difference to our neural function. Okay, so due to high chlorogenic acid, 10 times more, okay, theobromine and the unique caffeine profile, it does not stimulate cortisol the way regular coffee would. Okay, there may be still some slight increase, okay, natural with any stimulant, but not like how black coffee would. All right, and it gives a very smooth, sustained energy, alertness, and you have no jitters, no crashes. So that feeling that comes with it is something that right after you take the mate, you will experience, I'm sure. The alertness that comes very naturally. Okay, and it also provides numerous neuroprotective and metabolic benefits. Okay, and because of how pure our yerba mate is, okay, the high potency, it is indeed a lot more superior than standard commercial options. Okay, now another thing that this uni mate does, right, not just only of its awesome chemical compound, but it also have a positive effect to our brain. Okay, and because of that, mentally, we also have this benefit of being able to be more receptive, you know, during challenges. We are more resilient, okay, then we're more adaptive, we're more nimble, and it just gives you a very calm type of focus. Right? So from what many feedback that we know, people who are really minded, they just feel like they are ready to take on the day, they can solve problems, they're not so worked up, they can calm down, they can, you know. So this is the thing that the big benefit that black coffee may not give, okay, because it gives you a lot of jittery, you may feel more anxious. Okay, taking black coffee may make you more anxious. So this is how yerba mate can really be that substitute. Okay, smooth energy for all of us. Right? So you establish a lower insulin starting point, give you advantage to start your day right. And of course, this is where BioSlife S come into the picture. It doesn't act the same way like how uni mate would, but okay, it tackles on the food perspective. Okay, so this is what I mean. So balance acts as a shield in your digestive tract. But many people don't know that after eating a heavy meal, your body will also release cortisol. Okay, so we always think that cortisol only happens when you're not really eating or something, but cortisol can actually increase anytime, and even after a very heavy meal, your body would release cortisol to curb the high insulin, the high sugar spike that happens post-meal. Okay, so this is why BioSlife is so important, especially during your meal time, so that you can put that fiber lining there to just cap everything. So when the sugar spike does happen, it can reduce it. So when it reduces, cortisol then don't have to be released. All right. So even if your cortisol try to force your liver to release more glycogen, okay, you still have that netting of fiber to really just buffer to ensure that your insulin baseline stays low. Okay, that it can cushion that sugar spike, because whenever there's a sugar spike, it will then lead to increase of cortisol already. Okay, so this is how balance play a very important role by capping, especially during our meal time. So this is very important. So we feel great, okay, it does two things. Number one, it helps us, of course, fundamentally to manage our sugar and insulin levels. But it also helps to curb and manage our cortisol level as well. So Unit Mate is the top-down shield, okay, it's direct. Early morning, it gives you that morning focus. It doesn't spike your cortisol as much, so you're already starting at a much better baseline already. Okay, down-regulate the brain stress response and manage active cortisol. And with this Life X, okay, it's like a bottom-up shield in the gut to blunt glucose absorption and keep insulin level throughout, even post-meal. So with this, it's a very comprehensive system that tackles the most fundamental signaling in your body, which is two things at once, cortisol and your insulin levels. Okay, so the first step, like again, you want to re-establish the importance of taking Feel Great because it stabilizes the most important signaling, which is insulin and cortisol, right? So this is something that, only this can achieve that. Right, so when your insulin is stabilized, of course, then your body can access fat stores as soon as possible. And when that happens, you're able to see the results that you want to see. This is when your body recomposition will happen, your body fat percentage will start to go down, and your energy levels will increase. Now, once that is locked down and we can, firm this up, then we are ready to go to the next level, which is our muscle. All right, muscle is a huge thing when it comes to metabolic rate, okay? Simply because if we strengthen our muscle tissue, it's able to take on more glucose from your blood. And once that happens, the more muscle you have means more energy is used. Muscle uses a lot of energy. And when that happens, your whole body will also be able to burn more at rest just by having more muscle. Right? So not just only you can clear sugar better, you are also burning more at rest just by having good amount of strong muscles in your body. So this is why these two really is the most important aspect when we look at metabolism. Okay, so like what we have seen this before, how our muscle will drop with time. Okay, after 30 it's a 3 to 5% baseline loss, 40, okay, it's just 8% year by year, and it compounds, all right, and it's very hard to fight against this declining graph. So if we were to do a bit of detective work and to think back of the slide that I showed you before about how our metabolism don't really change, okay, but if we look at how our muscles change, it tells us a very important story. Okay, so this is our metabolic rate, right? That apparently won't change, okay, at 20 to 60, but our muscle is the one that changed so fast, okay, since 30 actually, all the way until 60. So this has already shown you a very big and a very clear sign that your muscle is one of the main reasons why you are not burning as you should, okay? Because everything else is stable, but your muscle is another component that loses so much over time, right? So clearly, muscle loss is not just about your body's ability to regulate sugar, it's also about how well you can burn at rest. Okay, so this is just a comparison to show you, right, how much fat differ, okay, compared to muscle. All right, so white fat, okay, only 4.5 calorie at rest. So if you put 30, it's about 135. Now brown fat, we do have brown fat actually in certain areas, but generally I wouldn't count on it too much because we don't really have that much of this brown fat most of the time in children. Okay, but this is just for you to see now. So muscle is the one, okay, that you are burning 13 calories, okay, which is like 3 times, okay. So we can see this is already a big difference. just by having 30 kg of muscle, how much are you burning at rest compared to 30 kg of fat, right? So with this illustration itself is enough to show that muscles use a lot of energy. Okay, so what does more muscle mean? If you have more muscle, it means that you have a higher metabolism. And when you have a higher metabolism, that is the real indication of your real age. Okay, I hope that we do everything looking at the age in our birth cert. Okay, because technically that's what, chronologically counts as our age. But I think, right, in reality, it really doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter, truly. And it's about how youthful you feel and what you can do with your body. Because some people, they can be 30 years old, but they cannot do a lot of things. But some people are 50 years old, they can walk, they can run, they can still have great stamina. And that totally, to me, I think, defines what your real age is. So that means that you have a lot more control about your metabolism than you think. Okay, you always leave things to fate. Oh my gosh, it's your genes, you have bad genes. You have to accept you're like this. Okay, but with this study that I've done and with all this discovery, is fascinating that you can gain back time and you can reverse your aging curve. Right? Even if you cannot go back to being 10 years old or whatnot, but then you can slow down and you can decide how well you can age. All right, which I think gives us a lot of hope. All right. So why is stronghold so important? Because it gives our muscle the signals that it needs. Okay, it tells it when to grow, when to recover, and when to stop breaking down. Extremely important that you don't lose muscle. Okay. Now, this is an illustration that I showed before, but we technically need two things. Okay. You can't just have protein, no signal, you have very minimal growth. You have not enough protein, but you have a bunch of signal that tell your muscle to grow. You will also have minimal growth. So what you need a great protein source, available protein and signal. That is how your body is able to achieve maximum muscle growth. This is what we all want. So I think most of the people, they don't really have enough signal. But also many people don't eat enough protein. Okay, and for those who are in the 90-day protocol, you would understand, right? It's actually not that easy to achieve the protein that is for your body type. And to even achieve 20 grams is not easy, really. So that's why many people lose muscle, okay, in years. They don't even realize they're losing it. So how can we mitigate with stronghold? Okay, first of all, I have to say is ingredients that makes it really special. Okay, it has the strongest muscle building signal with these few key star ingredient. Okay, whey protein isolate, leucine, calcium HNB, and creatine. Okay, just to go through this again. Okay, whey protein isolate. We don't put this in large amounts. Okay, we know that many protein, generally they're very high amounts of it. Okay, but if you have too high of amount, you become a food source. You don't become a signal. So signal, you just want an appropriate amount to just spark a whole protein building process. So what you need is just a spark only. So that's why we have used whey protein isolate as that source to and that precise 2.7 to 2.8 to just spark that and to increase muscle synthesis, and it can go all the way up to 48% by just having the correct kind of activation. So that's why whey protein isolate is used as one of the core ingredients. Right? Next is leucine and calcium HNB. Okay, because leucine, the purpose, because it is one of the strongest muscle building signal in our body. Right? It's the strongest amino acid that can activate mTOR. And this is the one that we want to activate when it comes to building muscle. So if you can activate more of this mTOR, this is where your muscle building will happen. Okay, so calcium HNB is like this balancing signal to leucine to ensure that that your muscle will continue to be sensitive to the effect of leucine. Because if you have leucine, you don't have enough of this. The balance is not really there. Okay, and also Calcium HMB prevents muscle loss so that you don't lose protein, because we lose protein like 8% after 60 years old, right? So this calcium HMB is really important to preserve the muscle. Not just only it can build and in response to the signal, it can also remain this size so it don't go down and down, right? So it's very important that this whole balance is there. Okay, so weak muscles is something that you feel very instantly. And I have to say that this is a really good illustration. And this shows a young man, okay, that in his 20s, obviously, he's someone who could have been able to take this box easily, okay, compared to someone who could be older, all right, 50, 40, but he's a well-built person, he has good mobility, good muscles, a good foundation. He can easily take this, okay? And this is, to me, I think, the true definition of youthfulness, okay? Because youthfulness is how well you can feel and your ability to do things, your stamina. Okay, if you are 30 years old, but you cannot even walk properly, you cannot even walk up the stairs. You see the stairs also, you are scared already. So that's not really the kind of feeling you want. But for some people, they could be that age. When you look at the stairs, they're not intimidated. They can walk down. Their joints feel good. You can still walk. I think to me that's priceless. And that to me is really how young you truly are. Every movement, you stand up, you walk up the stairs, you wake up from the bed, you get down from the bed. All these things will tell you how well you feel in that day. Okay, and all this minute movement all requires your muscle to move, your muscle to contract. But if your muscle is very weak, it's not stimulated, you're not doing enough activity, then, it won't be able to give you the mobility that you want, and you don't feel strong, right? So for us, we all have muscle, but it doesn't mean that it's strong, right? We need something to activate it, the signal to really build so that it can give us a kind of support that we really feel supported, and we feel the freedom, the independence, the mobility that we can to do the things that we enjoy, right? So I think that is really very important. Okay, so that's why so much more, okay, than what we see is how well we feel also. All right, we don't want to have got muscle but no power. We want to have muscle and power, right? So that's why strategically we also have this thing called creatine, okay, because our muscle needs a lot of battery. So we use, for our stronghold, we have purposefully put in creatine. So it's like that fast charging electric current that gives your muscle so that it can contract really quickly and you can do movement. Okay, so creatine is proven to give really good stamina in workouts, especially if you walk a lot, you're going to go for a hike or whatever. So you can really feel the difference in whatever you're doing. Okay, so without creatine, your energy generation is 2 to 3 times slower. It's a lot more lag, and everything is going to take more time now. So that's why they say that creatine is actually something that's very obvious. Okay, if you've now a bit, it can help you to go further with sufficient creatine. Okay, so what the stronghold does is that it activates the muscle, a muscle building signal that your body needs. Okay, and your physical age is not your real age. Your metabolic age is. Okay, and it's mainly driven by 2 things: the signaling in your body, okay, the cortisol, the insulin, and number 2 is how strong and how supple are your muscle fibers. Okay, you can be 50 and be as fit and as metabolically nimble as a 30-year-old. And likewise, if you're a 30-year-old, you can be as young as 18 years old. Also can. I've seen some people, they are 40 years old, but they're metabolically like 20 only. Okay, so your body can be aging at a much different rate, really depending on how well you take care of your body. Okay, this shows that we have a lot more control over our bodies than we once believed. All right, and it's, as I was doing this, it also made me realize that, yeah, it's not all up to fate, and we don't have to leave it up to chance. And we can decide our age. So your age is not based on what is printed on the paper, on the birth cert, but you decide your real age. So that shows that with this, you have a lot more control. You can decide your future and you can visualize the future that you want. And with this, it gives you the tools to achieve your goals. So remember, if anything else you don't remember, remember that you decide your real age. Okay? Now, I've done, okay, the rough presentation for today, and today we're following up on this thing that we're doing, which is the 90-day protocol. So it's highly encouraged that you don't do this alone, okay, because it's very easy to give up. And without the accountability, somehow rather, it's not impossible, but it is harder to stay motivated. And studies have also shown that programs that combine coaching, accountability, structured nutrition increase long-term success up to 50 to 60%. So that's a lot, okay? Close to double of what you could have done alone. And it's not a weight loss program. See, here, so we want to re-emphasize it's more of a body recomposition. The reason why we say it's weight loss because, okay, a majority of the people, they come here because they do have fat percentage issue. Most of them are like that. But there's also a group of people who come in because they need to gain healthy amount of weight. They may be underweight or malnourished, or they just need to gain more muscle, which many people are lacking of. Okay, so this is a very unique, it's a body recomposition that is customized uniquely for your body type. Okay, so shortly you will see a sample report. Okay, and joining a group encourages you to stay right on track to achieve your goal. Now, okay, it's just to give you a bit more. So this 90-day protocol has zero joining fee. You don't have to pay for anything. Okay, you have best seasoned coaches to coach you on every meal, everything you eat. They will guide you through it. Okay, there's peer accountability, free nutrition course, and the success rate is that everybody who can definitely will see something. Okay, but of course, to emphasize, even on the Feel Great program is already very good. So 90 days protocol is for those who want to see extra things in their body. They want to see more specific goals. So that's why we encourage you in. Okay, right? So so if you want to know how to join, inform the person who referred you today. If you know, you can email to us. Okay, and this is the next intake. Okay, so if you have anyone who is interested to join, new intake commence by 30th June. So please let us know or to contact anybody you know in this event. All right. So now this is the interesting part. I want to show you, right? How exactly, why are we different from others? Because there's a lot kind of weight loss program out there, right? And what makes us distinctive is really the targeted and the value add that these coaches are giving you. All right. So this is the report that I saw. Right? It was just fantastic. Okay. It shows you, okay, of course, this is the name, and it shows you what is your goal, what is the main objective of this person. Okay, your main goal, what is your priority? It tells you specifically, okay, overall frame also will tell you it's not a weight fat loss participant, okay, should be, and it's a very targeted, that's what I mean by customization, that you will not get this kind of thing anywhere else. And the thing is, all these coaches are not charging you a single cent by doing and giving you all this every week, they give you all this with all the tracking, okay, not just that. Okay, they even do a precise tracking. Okay, you can see here. This person is not really here to lose weight. Okay, this is one example I want to show you. She's quite underweight, as you can see, 42.7 kg. We may be thinking, why this person need to lose more weight? So this person is supposed to gain more weight, right? And from what I hear is that initially the trainer wants her to lose even more weight. I don't know why. And because of that, I think they were feeling a bit disturbed and then referred to our coach and said that through our program, she's able to gain back healthy amounts of weight. Of course, a certain amount of fat percentage will increase, but overall, it's a very healthy kind and follow through with her bone mass and her muscle, 0.1. So some of these other things may increase also at the side, but this is very minor and she's still currently in the program. So this is still ongoing until the 3rd month. So this is just the beginning, but just to be very transparent with you, sometimes some things will work. You cannot just be gaining, only pure fat mass, pure muscle mass. Some fat mass, after that, they will do a lot of recompositioning. So this is where all this tracking is very important, and they're very specific, tailored advice to give you, okay, what is your summary diagnosis? Better supported, not getting fatter, okay, moving away from over lean, because she was too lean already actually, so she needs some amount of body fat. This is underweight, that's 42.7 kg, okay, while keeping visceral fat excellent and muscle stable. And some more, okay, what needs attention? Tell you no compensation, should not respond to slight weight increase by cutting food some more. That will push her back towards the over lean pattern because she's underweight, right? Late sodium meal, late dinner, sauces, processed food, okay, all this will affect your baseline. And you may gain back real fat gain, and then protein gap. All this protein rhythm is improving but should stay protected. Exercise, but exercise also tell you this one high burn should not dominate. You should stay more cardio easy if she does cardio. So this is like, oh my gosh, they're not charging you anything. Do you know that? Like the health, all these coaches will give you every week what you need to do. And this is even not everything. Okay, it's actually a very long report. Okay, I only cut certain segment, and this is what you get from me. Okay, and of course we know that along the way, up and down, but you will always monitor you so that you will achieve your goal. Okay, so we are very excited for Grace. Okay, we are very positive. That she will eventually get there. Okay, with the right coaching, positive that she will get to where she wants to be. All right, so this is the report that you'll be getting. Okay, and also these are some of the results, amazing results that we have had. So this person is generally quite okay already, man. From day one, I know him. Okay, he actually have tremendous result with Feel Great alone. Before joining this 90-day program, I think so. It's actually he already has a tremendous weight loss just with Feel Great. Okay, so now he wants to kiasu, I want to look even better, right? So he joined this 90 days so that he can get that recomposition that he wants. So this 90-day program, after that, he didn't lose as much, but he lost a lot just to Feel Great, right? So after that, it's 2.7 body fat mass, but total in this 90 days, he lost 4.3, which is good. If you do some more, right, then it's not going to look too good on him already. And the good thing is he even gained muscle percentage, okay, and the body fat mass decrease. So this is the kind of recomposition that we want to see, that you are losing what you're supposed to lose and you're gaining what you're supposed to gain. All right, so this is a great example. And so just to let you know that Feel Great is in itself is already very, very effective, but with 90 days it's even better. Okay, so In Hai also have the same thing. Okay, actually he's also pretty good with one. In Hai looks pretty fit, but I think he wants to improve his physique even better. So as you can see here, he decreased 3.5 in body fat mass. Okay, that's a lot. And overall, if you see, the visceral fat also went down, the tummy also no more already. And the muscle mass is not here, but I'm sure the muscle mass has decreased also for his readings. So these are just some slight recomposition that you want to do, okay, not drastic. Okay, and Elise, okay, this is also another fantastic example, but this is more towards weight loss because, it's quite apparent as you can see, right? She started off with 65.9, after that she lost 6.44, okay? But overall, you can see that the body fat mass is a lot went down, 4.9. Okay, it's actually very substantial, and the muscle mass increased by 4 kg. So this is considered a very healthy weight loss. So some people may think that you only lose 6. It's actually a lot, Means 1 month is 2 something, and you're gaining muscle, losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time. So this is actually considered a very good result for somebody who is on the program. All right. So we actually have many more We have many more of these now, but if I share you too much means we're going to end at 9 p.m. Okay, so we're going to compile more of these testimonials and we're going to show you in our subsequent few presentations. Okay, all right. So it's never bored, right, to listen to all these testimonials to see how far you have come. And I'm sure for all of you who are in this program, myself included, our time you come. Okay. Right, so we're going to very quickly go into Q&A. So this is just a snapshot of all our subsequent Wellness 360 events. The next one is going to be 25th of July. Saturday, it's all on Saturday actually. So Brunei is on 15 August and 29 August is back to Singapore again. So we will announce Malaysia one later. Okay, but we'll definitely have one again here. All right, so thank you so much. Okay, it's a little bit long. I tried to trim down and spend a bit more time on our testimonials today. Okay, so now we are on to a time of Q&A. So if you have any question, please ask. Okay, thank you, Super Malay. 231. Okay, when you mention signal, you mean Unicity product signal? No. I'm not mentioning Unicity product signal. It's a very different, that's a different product altogether. So I mentioned signal is just your body signaling towards the insulin hormone. Yeah. Okay, is there a correlation to muscle health and skin? I'm thinking about how stronghold and my ongoing metabolic journey can help with making my skin and complexion better as I continue with the program. Yes, actually, a lot. Because our collagen also is amino acid. It's basically protein, right? So if you don't have enough protein and if you don't have enough signal, okay, for the amino acid to build on the collagen, then you will continue to to shrink. So that's why if you have good muscle, okay, good signaling from the stronghold, you have good amounts of protein, it can build on the scaffolding of your skin. And of course, if you add oasis, someone is going to be even better, and a very complete kind of suppleness that will be restored into your skin. So I think it's great if you are doing this. You can definitely add oasis in now, and probably add more stronghold with your food. I think you're already taking 2, right? I'm not mistaken, right? So if you continue with that, I'm sure that you will see even better results on your skin as well. Because I think this whole stronghold thing is not just about metabolically. I think it's an anti-aging thing also, Okay, from what we do, what we learn from metabolism, I think it correlates to our skin and it's also an anti-aging thing and it stops you from aging, right? Technically. So that's why I think that this is also something they can pair really well with Oasis. Okay, after workout, can I take stronghold? Yes, of course. And in fact, stronghold, I think, actually, I heard some feedback. Some of them, they say it's really good for recovery. So you can try that. Yeah. So depending on you, how it works. Some people, it works more on their stamina, but I heard it's very good for recovery. So you can try that. What's the best time to take stronghold? If you're exercising, I would recommend you to take for recovery. Means after your workout, right? Then you can just take one for recovery, or it's always during meal time. So it's either your dinner or your lunch together with your balance. Okay, that's the best time because it's when our body is building muscle. It's always during the eating window. Okay, so in order to increase the metabolism, so in summary, we have to increase our muscle, and with stronghold, we can still maintain muscle yet without or with minimum workout. Okay, so of course, we know for baseline, generally we all have to work out, right? But stronghold does a very important role for those who don't. Okay, so for those who don't, if you have no stronghold, it's even worse. Okay, because there's nothing that stimulates your muscle to grow anyway. But if you can work out with stronghold together, it's going to be even better, right? But for those who don't work out, best if you take stronghold, because basically there's no mobility, there's no signal for you to grow. So I think this is a great question, and it shows that we all need stronghold because most of us don't really exercise. So of course, if you can, even a walk would be good, okay, to just keep that energy revving in your body. Yeah. Oh, our next Zoom. Yeah, I think I think it's July 15th. Correct. Okay. No, not July 15th. It's 14th of July because Wednesday is 15th. So it will be 14th of July. Okay? Yes, after workout, you can take stronghold. Yes, like I said already. Okay, so Mr. Victor, what if some use 1 meal a day? Will they lose muscle? I think they will, because the feeding window is only once. So, depend how much can you eat in a meal, right? You can only eat Okay lah, some people they get out to 2,000 calories depending how much, and it's not very good. Yeah, 1 kilo a day you will lose. Honestly, you would, because your eating window is lesser, and your intake of protein will also be kept to just that 1 hour in a day. So yeah, I think potentially it will be affected as well. They will lose. They won't be able to build as good as those who are eating 2 meals a day. Okay, so what is the most effective way to reduce tummy stubborn fat? So like I said, really the most effective I would say is to manage your cortisol and insulin. That's very, very important, because sometimes the stubborn belly fat could also be due to that. And secondly, is really just you need to have good amounts of protein in your diet. All right, good amounts of that, manage the carbs, and then the fat. That one also you may have to trim down a bit if you really want to lose that tummy stubborn fat. Okay, and if of course if all else fail, then you may have to put in some workout already. But if not, generally it's the same principle that we've shared. Okay, you need to have good baseline of insulin, level your cortisol, and good amount of protein. And then we look at other things that we have to trim down along the way. Okay, so and some do 3 day or more fasting method, do they lose muscle? You mean like 24-hour fast, is it? And some do 3 day or more fasting method. I think fasting will have at least one. If you do fasting, sure. But of course, I'm thinking that those who do frequent fasting, they also have a refilling phase. So they do fasting, depends on how frequent they do lah. So best to do it safely. Okay, don't do it like every day kind of thing. So I'm sure that there are safety guidelines when it comes to those kind of very extreme fasting. But generally, yeah, there will be some muscle loss when you do very intense fasting. But I would say the most balanced would be 16 hour, 12. Then you wouldn't have much burning of that. So that's why you need to really have enough protein. Okay, if you're going to go on a long fast, make sure on days that you're eating enough so that you can replenish your protein stocks. I took strong goal after my workout today. Oh, that's very good. So continue to do that. All right. Okay, so is there a possibility to rewatch this talk later? Yes, we will also then publish this on YouTube. I think it's Unicity MSP, not mistaken. That's our YouTube channel. So all of our past videos will all be published there, then we will share the link to you. Okay? Okay, I'm using Unimate in the morning. Skip lunch with Unimate. I don't recommend it, but I'm very fat adapted. Yeah, okay, Kelly is different. He's really different one. Okay, and dinner with balance is stronghold. I sometimes use Basmati around 3 to 4. If I were to include Oasis, when should I use it? You can take it with E. You can take it together then, because you will be fasting at night, right? If you're going to be fasting at night, then you may break your fast. Right? So you can take it with Biosaf E long. I think that will be good. I would prefer night time, because the later in the day it is closer to sleeping. That's when you will recover. So I think it'll be good to do around 3 to 4. Okay, after exercise, can I just take a sachet of LC? Can, but I would recommend to take Stronghold. I think that would be better. Okay, then what we need to do to start the business? Oh, this one you can ask our coaches lah. Definitely they will guide you through this process. Okay, taking 3 Unimate better or 2 Unimate, 3 Unimate better or 1 Unimate 2 balance. Okay, I wouldn't comment on this, because I think that everybody have a different way of eating that suits them. Okay, and there are many different ways to take this. So some people, they really think that 2 Unimate is better for them. It works for them. The 2 Unimate really gives them the additional alertness. Their body is very fat adapted, like Kelly. So like they are gonna be, they are lean more towards that because it suits them. But for some people, they cannot take so much, in a day. They think that 2 Unimate is too much for them. So they will still rather go with the 2 balance in 1 Unimate. So it really depends on personal preference. I would say that. Okay, so there really isn't a, it's really depending on how your body will be well suited to which subscription plan. Okay, very good. You can see your muscle growing. All right, so okay, yeah. So our moderator is very responsible again, reminding us that it's time to close this session. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I hope, I think majority of you are already in the 90-day program, right? So I hope through this, continue to stay consistent, okay? Be in touch with your coaches. They are great. You know, they give you right, and they are giving you all this kind of dedication, you know, without charging you anything extra. So please give them a huge thanks. And in response, okay, give them your best dedication now. Okay, I'm sure right after this, everybody benefit. Okay, it's a win-win situation for everyone, and spread this goodness to people that you know, so that their life can be changed for the better as well. All right, so thank you so much, everybody. If you have any further questions, please, send me an email, send it to the customer service. We'll be more than happy to help. And so the next session is going to be July 14th. It's not 15th. It's always on a Tuesday. All right, so thank you so much, everybody. See you again. See you soon. All right, bye.